Welcome to today's episode of Scrapneak TV. Today we're going to be talking about what's in a kit, and more specifically, what's in my kits that I create and sell at the DigiCheck. I do this because I want, if you're brand new to digital scrapbooking, maybe you've come from paper scrapping full-time, or for whatever reason brought you here, I think it's important to know what it is you're getting when you purchase a kit such as this. This is my new release, um, back to school, and as it says at the bottom, 20 papers, 104 elements. So what exactly does that mean? I want to kind of walk through some of that. So let's open up this, and I've got a lot of files here. These, as I'm working and creating, there's just a bunch, so kind of ignore most of this. But you'll see that I have an alpha folder, and that's for the alpha. This one that comes with this kit is just a simple lowercase alpha. There's elements, and another folder of elements. We'll get back to this in just a minute. Papers. Usually the first 7 or 8 papers that I make are all the plain colors. So it's just, the white, the black, all of the basic colors in the kit, just a plain paper. And then it will move into patterns. And the second folder is all patterns as well. So those are the papers. So now let's talk for a minute about these elements. Notice that these elements are all saved as PNGs, except for one here that isn't in the real kit, just here in mine to show as an example. This I saved as a JPEG, and I want to show you the difference. So if I open them up, here is how you would get it in the kit. And notice all of these little squares behind it. That represents transparency. So that means that this is just empty space and there's nothing around it. Now if it's saved as a JPEG, it will look like this, and it puts the white in there. If you were to go online and order like clip art or download a piece of clip art, chances are it's going to have this white around it. And as you probably know if you've worked with it, it's kind of a pain. So here, let's take a paper, and let's first go to this JPEG one. And let's just do Command or Control A, depending if you're on a Mac or a PC, and that puts the ants around it, or in other words, it selects the whole item. And Command or Control C, go to our paper and do Command or Control V. Okay, there you go. Really not what you're wanting. If you were paper scrapping, you wouldn't have just your apple. You would, if it was a sticker or something, you would cut it out so that you had just the apple and not this white stuff around it. So that's what a PNG does. So let's do the same thing, Command and Control A, Command and Control C, Command and Control V to paste it. There you go. So when you buy a kit, all of the elements are going to be saved as a PNG if they need to have the space around them. Now some of my elements, for example, one of my journal cards, this doesn't need the space because it's just an actual card. So when I do the Command, Control A, Command and Control C, Command and Control V to add it to our paper, there's nothing white around it because it didn't have any transparency that needed to be protected. So that's kind of what a PNG file means, and most elements are going to be in a PNG format. Now just to kind of look here, this kit, because it was a school kit, there were a lot of fun little graphics that I did. Most of these were hand-drawn by me. It has some buttons, it has some little word things, flowers. I usually try to get somewhere between 8 to 10 flowers in every kit. A frame, usually that's 1 to 3 frames that I'll put. I usually put anywhere from 3 to 5 or 6 journal cards for those that like to do any sort of pocket scrapbooking. Let's go to our other folder. Some leaves. I personally love scrapping with leaves, so I usually put 2 to 3 of those. And I try, like with these notebooks, even though it is technically the same element, I try to give different color options, just especially dealing with school supplies. You know, it's fun to have a couple of different colors of crayons and sharpeners. Here are some paints. These I love to make, and I love scrapping with them. Let's just put this on our paper. These are really great for to go underneath your elements on top of the paper. I never put a shadow on these. They're just kind of a foundational building piece. You can move them anywhere. They're just a lot of fun to play with. And I will almost always have 2 to 3, 4 of those in a kit. A staple, I try to always have some sort of hardware to stick things down, either a staple or a paper clip, and I usually try to do stitching, although this one doesn't look like there's any stitching in it. Strings and ribbons, so ribbons here, stars, more word art. So these are basically the items that you're going to get in a kit along with the papers, and you should be able to make multiple layouts with what is given in a digital scrapbook kit.